This week on Stubborn Grit.
His wife and he are building a house together. Sweat equity. It's like a marriage workshop. Build the dream. How hard can it be? How long will it take? They don't have a clue. They're doing it themselves. Ignorance is bliss. Will they survive? Will their teenagers thrive? What's wrong with you people? Are they crazy? Maybe. Dream big. Don't quit. Stubborn grit.
Our largest shipment is on the way, so we're scrambling to make sure we're ready. Thankfully, our power company dropped several power poles nearby and they gave them to us. We cut them into 6 sections with a chainsaw, and we're going to try and use them as dunnage for storing our 48-foot I-Joists up off the ground. Now we just need to drag them to the build site and figure out the best placement. And that yellow strap is the same one we use for pulling our kids sledding in the snow. Along the way, we found out that our tractor's gauge panel wasn't waterproof, but we can still get work done without it. Anyway, our build site access road has been overtaken with grass, but it's still solid as ever with all the rocks sitting on the road fabric. On our way to the build site, I realized I need to keep moving to keep the pole from rolling down the hill. The trick is getting that strap around the pole without getting the creosote all over yourself. We did line our driveway with these for a while. I'm not tying a knot or doing anything special, just wrapping it around a couple times so that when I drive forward, it tightens up and holds all friction. So the current plan is to line all these up in parallel to each other, space every so many feet apart to evenly support our 48-foot big flanged I-joist. This should keep them high and dry without too much deflection. I just need to keep the front end of the pole lifted a bit off the ground to not dig in. It's working as far as dragging the logs without tearing up the road too much, but it's likely not good to bounce the backhoe hydraulics as I go. These big power poles will last 30 to 50 years easily. It seems that only the power companies and railroad companies are still allowed to use these chemical preservatives, which is one of the reasons I ended up not designing our building with posts in the ground like a pole barn. They just don't last as long. Plus, my wife said we might want to go all in on the full foundation, which is going to be a lot more permanent. But I don't think she realized how much more work was involved. I didn't either.
Are you listening? I'm surrounded. Just following an empty sound. Are you listening? Another time, another place that surrounds me. And I know that a bit.
So we'll put this fabric on top. Plastic might be better to keep that ground moisture from coming up from below. But we're gonna put our 48-foot I-joist on top of this, spaced out about 8 foot on center. We've covered up the plywood a bit more, like a tent on the sides and 2x lumber spacers on top underneath the plastic. We closed off the ends before it rained, but I'm about to open it up for airflow. Well, it's like maybe just before 7, a few minutes before 7. Already walked out there. And I think the trucks are here. It's still dark. Most of our lumber, engineered wood, and plywood were purchased through a local lumber yard. They also sourced and delivered the timbers for us. Again, our build site is about 650 feet back from the main road. This first smaller delivery truck could have driven directly to the build site. 25 feet or so trucks can easily make the turn into our entrance, but the first truck is also helping to direct traffic for when the larger truck arrives. 7/8 by 48 foot. The delivery driver is trying to find the center to balance the load. Not a lot of room to make the approach. Our 2-lane road is very narrow, about 16 feet wide without a shoulder. I have a hard time keeping my wide trailer in the lane on this road, so definitely not ideal. We don't want the ends of the I-joists smacking the ground since it can damage them. I keep hearing a popping sound, not sure what that is. That's perfect then. Couple more feet, 2 more feet.
Ooh.
That's good. Hopefully we're getting everything placed high and dry and close enough to the build site to grab materials quickly without being in the way while we build. You don't want to touch the flange.
Listen, more coming.
Gotcha. And last but not least, our timber order has arrived. We had already paid when our lumberyard supplier suddenly tried to delay shipment. I'm guessing someone tried to cut in line or something. But long story short, our framing starts with the timber. So our lumberyard pushed back on our behalf and got them to go ahead and ship it as agreed. And we now have all the timbers, and we'll frame with these vertical 8x8 posts before we need access to the plywood. Now we just need to go through everything one last time to make sure we have it all and it's in usable condition. So yeah, what a relief. We were really stressing about this delivery, holding up the traffic out front and getting it all to the build site without incident. I think we're good.